Tony, the very first thing on the slide that comes up is air duct versus pipe and sleeve. And is it Atco that had something to say about it?
It is Atco. Ralph, so he's their vice president. I stay in communication with him. We've had issues with foam and other things in the past. And their document, they left out a blank document, pretty much said we're going to leave it up to the state of the jurisdiction to make the ruling. However, when it come down to backing you in a court or anything to back you with that, they're out because they make two products. They're a design system. Sleeve is its design system. Flex is its design system. And we're going to get into some of the issues he and I actually discussed of what could go wrong, what people see, what they think they're, what they prescribe to believe that is a system, and it's not at all. The proper supporting, the proper runs, and so forth as to reasons why it's not its own system. Sleeve is its system. Flex duct is a system with the HelioFlex, the vapor barrier, and the insulation. All that combined together makes flex duct. So that's basically their letter says, yes, it is made the same. The sleeve is made the same. It's the same product, but it's not been tested. It's not been ASTM tested. It's not been UL tested, not been approved without. And that's why they did read tool and die, and they make sleeve for metal pipe and they make flex duct as a standalone.
Okay, I guess the reason I'm confused about it, my experience many years ago when I was in business is that when we bought sleeve, there was no doubt what we were going to do with it. We were going to slide it over a piece of metal duct. And so when we talk sleeve today versus a duct wrap or air duct, a flex duct, I'm in confusion. You mean you got people who are doing sleeve like we used to do and wanting it to be the duct?
Yeah, so you got a 15-foot run right there, and they've got a square trunk line, and they're coming off and they're supported, and they're running straight to a boot. They're going down, hooking the 15-foot on, put the little plastic cap like you use in sleeve. They're cutting off 15, 16 foot, putting the HelioFlex, pulling it out, and just sliding that flex insulation on just like sleeve. And it goes on, and it's one solid piece. It keeps them from having to put 3 or 4 pieces on. And it also stops them from having to tape the joints and so forth. And I do get the common sense value of why they want to do it. However, we have to go back into legality issues, what's going to happen, what's going to stand up. And that's where we're coming from as to why it's not going to be allowed, not in Arkansas.
Okay. Liner was removed here.
No,
placed
so they
on
never,
metal duct.
right. They took the HelioFlex completely out, slid it on there. But then again, they went back to the practices of how you support flex duct. Of course, they missed that too, because flex duct is, you can use mesh webbing 4-foot intervals. So they're trying to get out there past their 10-foot and use a mesh webbing strap on metal pipe. You can't do that. That takes either wood or a metal strap. That the reasoning, I've explained this. I've had the state fire marshal. We've explained it. If this house was to engulf, whether it's in the attic or whatever, say it is in the attic, our temperature rise up in there gets so rapid, this stuff where they zip screw that, it will actually expand and come away. And this can make the duct be super heavy. Then we have a crash situation. And that there was a movie that came out called Backdraft. Some of it's fabricated, but anytime you have a vacuum and you have oxygen and you penetrate that, that will flash over. That's why we're trying to stop that. And you can't support the heavy weight of that metal. So they're running flex. And if you're the homeowner or you're the inspector, you're going, oh man, that's a mighty straight flex. Well, it don't look like it's supported, but then you get up there, it's not flex at all. It's a solid metal duct pipe, which will bring another scenario. If we were actually doing load counts, which my guys are highly trained to do that, we're going to look in that room off our manual J load, and you just happen to be sitting there today educating some bright minds on manual J load, and say that room is requiring 131 CFM to that load. Gentlemen, why are y'all sitting there, and ladies, you gonna get 131 CFM out of a 6-inch flex, even if it is pulled that tight? You are not. So there's another confusing. Well, that 6-inch flex, no, it's not. That's actually hard pipe. So there's reasoning behind the system you build and the system you install.
I guess the thing that I'm thinking is that sometimes it looks to me like people go to a lot of trouble to try to save work and wind up creating more work for themselves. Here we go. This one doesn't have the pipe sleeve or duct wrap.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good. They did a good job and pulled it over. But it was, they just took the Helioflex out and slid that over on there. And it's
Well,
not allowed.
well, one of the reasons I put this in is that while I was looking this up, trying to understand, I went to one of the DIY chat rooms, and one of the responses was, "That's okay. I do it all the time." I
Yeah.
thought,
Well,
"We're-
they better not do it in Arkansas. That's all I can answer for Arkansas. I can't answer for. I did talk to Gary Kirk about this, and he was well. So he's going to get back to me. I'm not sure what the deal is, but Texas, they do allow it in Texas. I know for a fact they do, but we're not going to do it in Arkansas. No, sir.
Well, I guess the point that I'd like to make here is that it's important where you get your information from. My contention to all of our contractors is if you want to know what's going to be allowed in your area, you go to your local inspector who is reflecting what the state inspector is saying. That way you'll keep yourself out of trouble.
Yes,
Here we
sir.
go. Why not?
Yeah, that
That's
reason why not, it's not rated. The number one reason it's not rated, it won't hold up in court. You're not given a true system of what you have. They're not properly supporting it. They're looking at the system going, well, it says it's 6-inch flex when in reality it's not 6-inch flex. They'd go, damn, that's some pretty straight flex if anybody could run it that way. And it is not. I mean, it's straight and pulled, but not supported properly over 10 foot, supported incorrectly, pulled across, and it's basically you just took the entire ASTM and UL rating of that system void when you rip the Helioflex out of it.
so pretty doesn't necessarily make it right, does it?
I hate saying that. Yeah, and there's what you're talking about right there. That UL 181 air duct. At that time, that's no longer an air duct. That has been turned in. It has voided it from right there. From
I
that
got
point.
you. Liner was moved. Same thing that we talked about a while ago, and I guess we've already covered this, haven't we?
Yes, sir. The support.
All right.
Correct.
It was improperly suspended.
Yeah.
Um, how wide does the strap need to be when you're doing metal pipe?
Metal pipe is 1.5 inches. You get that under you find it in mechanical, but it's under your SMACNA duct construction standards. Now, that gets confusing. There is a residential duct, SMACNA duct construction standards, and there's the standard volume 5 SMACNA duct construction standards. The language is the same. If it's metal duct, it's 1.5 inches. Metal, if you use strap, or you can use a 12 gauge approved wire, or you can use unistrut, metal approved angle iron, or wood product based on if the construction is type 5, which type 5 means it's a wood constructed building, dwelling, single family dwelling, so forth like that.
Well, didn't we at one point, I'm just trying to remember back, talk about the width of the support underneath the strap needing to be a certain width?
Okay, that was confused when they did like what's called a flex duct. When some of the people wanted to take like on a 6-inch flex duct, take a piece of 8-inch metal pipe, and then they'd open that up and cut a sleeve and then pull up with metal strapping. You can support flex duct with metal strapping, but you have to put that spacer in there so it don't cut the vapor barrier.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And you mentioned a while ago that if it's flex, it's got to be supported every 4 feet.
Correct.
Or right? Do
That's
I have this right on here?
No, it's the ADC's latest edition. It is every 4 feet.
Okay. I need to change that then, don't I?
Yes.
Now on metal pipe,
yeah.
On metal pipe, is it every 10 feet? That seems like a long way.
Every 10 foot. Now, when you get back to this next thing, I'm going to discuss something about where you take off. When you take off, off of a trunk line or a plenum, you can't go no more than 4 foot before you start your first support. Then you can go 10 foot.
I got you.
Yeah. And there's your support code right there. But that's 10 foot after once you start initiating, then you can go over 10 foot. Some folks are going back, it puts way too much stress on them air tights.
4 feet off the plenum and then 10 feet thereafter.
Yes, sir. And they can find that in their duct construction standards. That's where that is.
I got you.
Right here, this picture right here. This is what I'm talking about. So they tape that over, you're looking at flex, but see, that's going way out there. Within that first 4 foot, they needed a strap or something. They could have took a 2x4 and went across right there and supported it on those two right there and then went 10 foot. But
I see it now.
yes,
Well,
sir.
Tony, I can't believe we got through this one much faster than we usually do. Uh, I appreciate your time. I know you guys are so busy right now.
Well, I see you've got your hands full there with the class, and I hope somebody learned something, and I know they're going to learn something when they get through with you after 2 days.
Well, my guys are good looking and smart. Like I said, I don't know what you have to work with, but you know.
Well, it's I have to work with my ugly mug. That's what I have to work with.
Well, this has been the Lunch and Learn. We appreciate your time for having joined in. We'll see you again April the 14th at 12 noon. Same thing. We'll be, oh, by the way, we have a special guest next time, don't we? We have a gentleman
Okay.
from the National Home Builders Association who sits on all of the code agencies to kind of tell us how things evolve. And we're also going to be talking about A2L pipe running up a stud wall cavity, aren't we?
That's correct. We're going to talk about the requirements of A2L and yeah, I look forward to that one. I'm going to pick his brain, whether he knows it or not, but because I know he's versed in single family dwellings, and we're going to get into some of this, but we'll see where it goes. But it should be an interesting lunch and learn next month.
Well, it's been short but good, Tony. Have a good day and tell everybody up there we said hello.
Thank you, Tom. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.